Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, November 29th, and today we cover RODY. Seems to be a Saturday ritual now. Every Saturday morning, we'll go through some of the trades I'm doing on my new strategy, being the RODY, which is basically, think of it as a poor man's covered call with downside protection, this, that, and the other thing, right? But anyway, also closing out the wheel strategy so you can see some trades there as well. Hopefully the audio is not snap, crackle, pop. But if it is, please let me know. And we'll go from there. All right, Bitcoin update. How we doing? 90. We were at, what, 92? It was looking pretty sweet. And then, weekend plateau here at 90, I guess. So, hey, we'll take it, I guess. Whatever. All right. Anyway, let's get to RODY. So, let me recap again the beginning, what this trade is, because there's always confusion on kind of how this works. Let me get these numbers out of the way so there's, to avoid confusion. All right. So now, when you think of a poor man's covered call, right, what do you think of? You think of buying a leap, buying a long dated call, a further expiration call, 6 months to a year, whatever, right? And then what do? You sell calls on that position, right? Poor man's covered call, because you're broke ass. You can't afford, $61,500 to own shares outright. You have to buy the call, right? Which in this example is like almost $7,000, right? So that's a massive savings, right? Hence, poor man's covered call, hence the name. Make sense? All right. So now, we don't just do that, because if you did that, your risk is the expense here, right? The $7,000 or $6,919. But we add a little more, right? We add the put. Let me do one at a time here. We add the put. So we sell a put, same strike, same expiration. It's not going to make it free, but it will give it a nice little discount and help the expense. So instead of paying $6,900, I'm going to pay $2,200. However, there's a problem. When you add the sell put, you're exposed to the full downside. So if this thing goes down to 0, you're going to be exposed to a risk of $61,500 for one contract. And that doesn't sound great, does it? However, this is the Qs, this example, by the way. Are the Qs going to go to 0? No, and no. But regardless, we don't want to lose money. We don't want the full downside risk. So what are we doing? Sorry, this is a little slow-mo here. We're going to buy a put. So we're going to buy a put to protect us from too much downside, we'll say. We bought a put here, 4% under the strike price. So it's 4% under essentially the 615. So we bought a put at 590. So now instead of our downside exposure being $61,500, our downside exposure is what? $2,500, right? Oh, it's right here, $2,500. So sounds much better, right? Because again, look, if I delete this, where is it? If I delete that, see downside risk, 61.5. If I add it back, downside risk, 2,500. Much better. However, there is an expense to buying the put, $3,813 here. So our total expense is $6,100. Again, yeah, sure, you could buy the call outright, but we're saving money through selling a put and buying a put, because we're not exposing ourselves to the full downside. Does that make sense? Anyone here? We have how many live? 62 people live. We usually get less people on the RODY video, and I get it. People don't care about my trades, but it's not really about, it's just sharing a journey of a different way to learn options, and I'm having fun doing it. So let's let's get to it. Hopefully, again, it makes sense. Sometimes I don't do the deep dive here. But anyway, think of this as the three legs, the three main legs. And then what do we add? We add a fourth. But this one moves weekly, right? This is typically going to be a weekly trade where we will sell covered call. When we start off, we do it at the money too. Same price, 615. And then you get $700. Boom. Premium for a weekly call. Can't beat it, man. Of course, there is more extrinsic, right? We got a half day yesterday. So you got the half day Friday. You got the whole weekend. And the market can do anything. It could fly high, it could tank. Well, we shall see. All right. So in the end here, again, this is an actual position. This is what I did add the Qs, by the way. But so you could see my downside exposure is $2,500. Also, my the expense was about $6,100. So my total at risk is $8,600. So, why would I risk that? Well, because I'm going to sell calls. I'm going to sell calls and collect the premium. Make sense? Great. All right. So now let's get moving here. Let's look at the VIX. VIX update. It's at a 16, which is defined as calm, low volatility. Markets are stable. Risk is perceived as low. Okay, if you say so. Watch list update. Again, I did add the Qs. So next on the radar is SPY, which, it'll probably be some time till I add the SPY. They're the most expensive of the indexes. And then I've been looking at a gold fund. Maybe GLD is the biggest fund. Again, we're looking at maybe more indexes type thing. I know gold's not an index per se, but it's gold, right? But I don't know, something to think about. If you look at the IV, actually, wow, what? Wow, look at that IWM IV. Gold has a higher IV than IWM. That's good to know. All right, good to know, Cletus. All right, let's move on to the screenshots. I referenced these the other day on the open trades. But in case you missed it, if you are trading open with the non-standard options, basically the ones that have the warrants, they call them dividends, warrants, whatever. Like I bought my long call before they issued the warrant. So that means I have to sell calls on the same warrant contracts. They are also called non-standard contracts. So that means I have to sell calls on those. And guess what? Charles Schwab and maybe other brokerages do not allow you to trade non-standard options through your phone or your computer. You have to do them either by calling them directly or getting them live on the chat. Massive pain. So I did it though. I did it again because it's been a while since I did an options trade on a phone. So I figured, hey, why the hell not? And it wasn't that bad, to be honest. It was pretty quick. So we'll see how it goes. I may just do them online going forward, or I may close out the position and start a new one because, to be honest, it is an inconvenience. But I get it. It's to protect the investor because some people may accidentally choose the wrong one. And yeah, it is what it is. But, we could thank Open for that. All right. Also, here is my actual trade for the Qs. So you could see. All right. There's the buy call, the expense per share. There's the sell put. It's a credit. I don't know why it always shows. It shows it's red. It should be, reflect. I think the overall is called a plus because it costs money. But think of that as a -1 for the credit, 46.32 per share. And then here's the buy put, 38.13, and then here's a credit of 7. All right. Overall debit of $54 per share. So again, if you go back to the sample, where is it? Yeah, 5,400. See, adds up. Boom. Done. All right, makes sense. Now let's get to it. All right, I see a question. Let me see if there's other questions actually. All right, so loud and clear. Thank you, brother, for confirming. Why the Qs instead of the TQQQ? Because there's no I want to do this as a long-term play. And obviously, you know, investing in the leverage plays, you know, can sometimes dilute itself, right, with the daily, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. I need coffee. Hold on. The reallocation daily, whatever the hell they're doing on the freaking inverses, which actually hurts them in the long run. But if I do use TQQQ, I will do it on a shorter term. So I would not choose an expiration date out a year. I would choose probably 3 months. But again, I'm still learning on these. I'm not brave enough to use a leverage on a leverage play. Nonetheless, leverage on a triple leverage play. But we'll see, man. We'll see. All right. Has higher fees. Oh, yeah. That's a good point, actually. I didn't even think about that. How much did they charge me for that trade? You know what? While we're talking, I can check it on the phone. That's a problem. That may be the deciding factor of closing this out and starting new, or just closing it out in general. All right, let me find the trade. Open $8 call. Oh, yep, there it is. 330. All right, $3.30 to call in that trade. Wow, that's some bullshit. That is some bullshit. Thank you for pointing that out, Steele. Holy, I didn't even think about that. That's right. You know what? He should have said that to me. The open, yes, I agree. Retire abroad. Yeah, I'm either getting out of it completely or reopening it. Yes, open versus open one. So, well, it's open one on Schwab, but if you go to Thinkorswim, it'll show open and then open L, open Z. You know, it doesn't say open one. It'll show the actual warrants and the names. Yeah, it's annoying for sure. So were the commissions on the phone? Yes, 330 versus like 50 or 60 cents, what I normally pay. So yeah, there's my decision. My decision has been made because well, actually, I don't know if I do it on the chat, it might be cheaper, but you know what? This whole thing is just annoying. So it's kind of ruining the whole, but I got to see, I'll see where I'm at as far as profit is concerned on open, and then we can go from there. All right. Anyway, let's get to it. So open calls. Here's the trade I called in. It was I did all 6 contracts in one, because God forbid I did 2 trades, then it'll be 330 twice. Like, could you imagine? But anyway, 6 contracts. I sold a cover call, $8. Boom, boom, boom. And let's see, it was at what, 770. So no, at the time it was at 750, so it was 6% out of the money. Then it went to 770, 3.9, whatever. Delta 0.44. It paid me 33 cents per share. 6 contracts would make it $198, and that's an annualized yield. Again, we can't really use this, to be honest, because it's not really the money that you were using. I should actually eliminate that, but it does give me a ballpark figure, which is helpful. But anyway, that's what I made, $198. And now that gets added to the weekly totals. All right, so open was pretty simple, although pain in the ass, very simple overall. Now, holding wise, you know, again, this is important because I want to see how much is the synthetic work. If I'm closing this out, obviously, first I have to close the covered calls. I just opened them, but I'd have to pay to close them, and then I would close these. All right. Again, sucks, but will I get back into open? Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, here's where I stand. It's worth about 711, your favorite store, and unrealized is negative 489. All good. All right, let's look at SOFI. SOFI, nothing new on the synthetic position. 5 contracts, nothing new. Like I said, cover calls. I got all five going, but I did have to roll. Did I roll this one? Yeah, I rolled this one. It was a $28 strike in the money. What did I roll it to? I rolled it to next week, 12.5, and I kept it in the money. So that leaves me with two 28 strikes for next week, a 27 and two 29s. So two of them, some of them are in the money, some of them are out of the money. So I'm protected, SOFI dips, I'm protected on the downside because again, the covered calls are in the money. So good, great. It means I collected more premium, keeping them in the money. If SOFI was at like $35, yeah, sure, I'd roll these up. But SOFI has been trading in this range. I'm not really worried about being in the money. If it gets a little risky and I think early assignment is a possibility, then sure, yeah, then I'll roll them sooner than later. Because again, you don't really want to get assigned early, but if you do, you deal with it. But ideally, if I could avoid it, I will. All right, so I will grade out this rolling order and say bye-bye. Let's hide this sucker. And this is what we're left with, all right? So these are all 5 contracts. I did them at separate times. But obviously, if I roll the 28s together and the 29s together next week, these will just be 3 lines because we'll have it that way. All right. Now, if we look at the SOFI synthetic, you could see my expense on the synthetic was $2,204. It's currently worth $2,316. So the synthetic alone is actually worth more than when I opened it, which is great because then all that call income is cash money, right? All that call income is, money I don't have to offset against this. But again, I'm not really too focused on this, but if you do make money on the synthetic, it's even, it's a cherry on top. So right now we are making money on SOFI. All right, let's keep scrolling along here. Let's go to ELF. We know the ELF story. ELF, actually, let me go to questions. I do see some questions, I think. Again, the RODY video, we do what we want. We take pauses for questions. We do whatever. All right. Yeah, retire abroad has had enough of the open dilemma. And, I don't blame her. I don't blame her. Yeah, Jeff, I answered your question. I've been able to trade F with open 1, but there are 2 sets of everything. Question, you did 6 contracts at once on open and they charged $330. Oh, well, if you do, isn't it by trade? That's a good point. That's another good point. Yeah, you guys are all geniuses here. So I don't know. I gotta be honest. I don't know. 6. So really, if I do 6 contracts, even though it's 1 trade, they're going to charge. I guess so. If I did, see, I usually just do 1 contract at a time. Does anyone use Schwab here? And if you do multiple contracts, say 2 or more, do they charge you the additional commissions or just 1? Yeah, that's how I feel too. That's why, I want to keep it in here. Keeping SOFI, Intel, TSLL. Yep. Per contract. Okay. All right. See, I overreacted for nothing. But that's, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's a freaking scam. But whatever. Per contract. So they did not charge me. It did not charge me more. All right. Thank you all. So yeah, because I always do 1 contract. The first time I did 6 on the phone because I thought I could avoid. Yeah, nope. I should have just done freaking whatever I wanted then. But all right. Anyway, ELF synthetic, as we know, part of the ELF position got assigned. Remember, we started this sucker at 125. Yeah, we got our asses beat. However, I still have the long call. This won't get assigned early. This is up to me to exercise. And I'm not exercising it because it's not worth a damn. But I am keeping it open because I'm selling calls on it, as am I selling calls on the other position, which is the 75. So let's take a look at the calls. So the 75, let's cover that first. That expired in the money. So I didn't let it. you know, it was expiring in the money. So what I decided to do is I feel like ELF, you know, is kind of, it has been staying above the 75. So I did inch it up. So I rolled it up in strike price, only $1. I'm not going to go crazy because again, it could go back down. So I rolled it up $1. You can see I did the rolling order, and I collected a total of 85 cents per share for that roll. So if I look here again, the annualized, you know, even though it's not, you know, basically, you know, I'm not using what it's saying for the front end money, wherever that is, you know, I'm not technically using that much money. So I'm annualizing more than, you know, what it says, but I need this as an indicator of, you know, is it worth my time? And it is. So anyway, it paid me $85 to roll that up. I rolled it only, you know, till next week, and I rolled it up $1, and I still got 85 bucks. This is why, like, you know, if you feel like the underlying is going up, is inching up, it's good to gradually maybe raise the strike price, because if you do it all at once, you're probably gonna have to move that date out, right? And you'll see I did that on IWM. All right, so let's gray this out. It's so peaceful. I don't even hear anyone. I don't want to jinx it. All right. So anyway, also remember that I got that poor man's covered call, essentially standalone. Remember, I bought a call. It's a 125. This thing ain't worth nothing. It ain't worth nothing. So when I sell a call against this, it's obviously going to be under this strike because Alpha is nowhere near 125. So if I sell a call against it, I need to make sure it does not get assigned. So I sold the call at 85. At the time, it was 12.72% out of the money. And the delta, look at the delta, weak sauce delta. Again, I'm playing it safe, 0.07. That's a premium of 0.22 per share, or $22. So again, I could just close it out, not take the risk and move on, or I could be doing this, collecting about $20 or more per week until the thing expires. Make sense? I think it's all right. I don't know. Anyway, so on ELF, I made $107 for this week. If you look at the synthetic, again, I'm still keeping the cost of the long call in there, which, you know, kind of goes against me, but whatever. If I close out the whole thing, you can see I'll make about $7.94. But yeah, again, we're not closing it out. We're actually doing fine. The 75 is doing fine. It's actually worth, you know, a decent amount. So let's see how ELF trades. Again, ELF did tank after earnings though, and I did add ELF after earnings. And again, it's just a different stock. It's an individual underlying that carries its own risk. But you'll see we're starting to add the indexes. All right, let me pause. I'm going to pause after each one to go through some questions. Let's see. Yep, per contract. Thank you very much. 65 cents per contract. Yeah. I think I dropped it to 50 something. I don't remember. I did ask them one time. They did drop it a little. Okay, so they charge like that on Fidelity too. All right, just ask Schwab. Yeah. Yep. Cause it's Cooper's Tide Venture. So yeah, quick update. We're having Cooper and Brooke from Cooper's Tide Venture on the Monday show. Hopefully the dogs and kids behave, so there's no chaos. If not, they'll be part of the show, I guess. But anyway, yeah, just shout out to them. Go check out his channel, by the way. I know they go Sunday lives, but it seems like you've been going more frequently. But yeah, share your schedule on your YouTube. But yeah, so I'll be interviewing them Monday morning, 6 a.m. But yeah, I don't have an intro to play. I have the 30-second countdown, but yeah, I don't know. If I play your intro, they'll copyright me probably, right? Or you'll copyright me. All right, Schwab charges me. Yeah, we could always ask for a discount, but of course then they'll follow. Oh, how many trades do you do per year? I'm like, I don't freaking know. I don't add them up per year. I do a lot of trades. You know, they're adding up now. So as I'm doing the RODY, oh yeah, they better. I'll wait a few months, but I'm gonna ask them again. I'm like, listen, bros, I'm doing all options now. You better cut back here, because they're getting freaking commission everywhere from me. All right, let's look at Robinhood. Robinhood, we got the synthetic. We know how the Robinhood, again, when I started the Robinhood position, the market went tankety doo. When I started most of these positions, the market tanked. So again, we're battling from behind on RODY. But regardless, no complaining. Let's do this. So Robinhood, what do we got? We got a 130 strike and a 137 for next week. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of worried about the 130 because why? Well, again, our synthetics are 145 and where is it? And there it is, and 140. So we're selling a call underneath that because we have to, because we got to make some money in the meantime. However, Robinhood jumped up the 10% in freaking one day. So now these are only 1% out of the money. So it's getting kind of scary here. What is Robinhood going to do? I'm not worried about the 137. Are they going to jump another 6% in 1 week? It's possible. I'm just worried about the 1%. But again, let's just say it closes at 132. I'm going to roll this up and out. I'll roll it up probably to 132 or 131 and then gradually go from there. Is there going to be a Santa Claus rally for the end of the year? I don't know. Santa Claus sell-off, maybe. We don't know. The market is so unpredictable, so it's impossible. But anyway, you could see I made $170 this week on Hood. Even though my synthetic is beat down, we're not just going to sit here and wait for it to recover. We're going to sell calls and we're going to deal with it. The Hood side piece, again, I did this on the 17th. It's not in danger at all. It's actually fine. I could probably close it early, but the thing expires December 19th. So there's a lot of extrinsic value, time value left over. So we're just going to let it be, let it be. All right. So Hood synthetic. Yeah, it's not, if I closed it today, I get $377, which obviously is a lot less than what I paid. But we're not too concerned about that. This thing expires in May. So we'll give it time and go from there. All right, Palantir also underwater on this one because again, as soon as I started the position, the market went down. All right, down. So what do we do here? What do we do? Well, we sell calls. All right, how are my calls doing? I have 2 calls at 180. They expire next week, and they are currently 6% out of the money. Are they safe? I don't know. We'll see. Total premium I earned, $207. Great, wonderful. How's the synthetic doing? Again, not good. It's worth $415. I paid $3,200. But again, just got to give it time. Before I get to IWM, which is my best performer, we'll look at the comments real quick. What's this? Do you have many cats env where you don't sell? What is that? Hood, you got caught. That ain't smart, bro. Do you have cat? I don't know what is that English. All right. In all my accounts, I'm doing 15 a week, sometimes more or less, depending on what I get. Oh, options trades, yeah. Beta of Hood not good for covered calls and these types of stocks, in my opinion. I mean, it's the IV is pretty damn sweet. It's paying me a pretty damn good premium. So far it's worth it. But yeah, I'd rather do indexes if I had to start over. Market headed to a rally. Yes. Okay. We shall see. We'll see. All right. Anyway, so that's the update on the questions. Let's go to IWM. Again, I started the position at 235. This is the synthetic position. Again, going forward, I'm probably going to do 1 year out. And you can see that I did that here, 12/18. The other ones are all May expiration. This one is December. So what happened here is I had to roll my position, right? Because I was in the money, right? I was in the money. Actually, I need to unhide where is it? Because this is important. Because I was selling the 235 because that was around the price of the synthetic. It was around the price of the underlying. But at the time, the underlying did jump up to 247. So I did not roll with the same strike prices. I rolled it up. I didn't roll it up to 247 because, again, I want to get a credit. So I rolled it up $2 because am I thinking this is going to stay up? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I'm keeping it in the money, slightly, still in the money, 237 though. I did bump it up. So now it's 4% in the money, 4.3. And again, if it drops, if IWM drops, now I have some downside protection again because of this, because I did sell it in the money call. In the end, I got what? Not much, because I did have to pay a pretty penny to close out the old one. We did a buy to close, sell to open, right? So it paid me about 35 bucks. But again, I got a credit for moving the strike price up. However, I did have to choose a further expiration date, which no longer allows me to trade weekly. I have to wait. Now, this is a monthly. So I have to wait. It's 1 month out, 30 DTE. That part sucks, but it's okay. It's okay because I'm making money on the synthetic. All right. Makes sense? Good. All right. Let's go to the holdings. So again, the synthetic on IWM, it cost about $1,294 when I opened it, and it's currently worth $2,512. So if I closed the whole synthetic alone, if I closed it and moved on my life, it would be a $1,200 profit, $1,218. So that's why, again, yes, the covered call got blown through, but obviously, just like YieldMax, the synthetic is doing well. But again, I don't want to lose, out on these gains. So that's why I'm trying to roll up in strike price, but I'm going to roll up slow. I'm not going to rush it. I'm not going to roll it, take the loss, because what if it comes back down, right? So I'm playing kind of both sides. The goal is not to roll for a debit ever. I know it's going to happen, but I'm just saying that's, ideally, I don't want to pay to roll. All right. Sound good? Great. So that's IWM. Now we go to Qs. So this is a brand new position. But before, let's see what you guys are yapping about. All right. Just yapping. USA, I really hated selling half my ulti. I put it into semi and at 23 few hours before it ran to 20. Wow. That's the yield boost fund, right? It ran up. Wow, that's unusual. Isn't semi the yield boost fund? How the hell did it run up that high? But yeah. All right. So let's see. Let's look at the Qs. We got a 615. And again, it was at 616. I typically start the synthetic position, the synthetic collar, we'll call it. It's a synthetic combo collar, or a RODY, as we say. So we started at 615 and we bought a call or bought a put at 590. So the expense of this position, as we already talked about, $6,100. And of course, yes, we sold the call right away. In fact, we sold it at the same time we opened the synthetic. We sold it at 615. It's in the money, but barely. We'll see how next week goes. If the Qs go up, then yeah, we'll have to roll this up and out. But for now, we're collecting premium, about $700. That gets added to the weekly income. All right. So the 700 is definitely going to help us out because we only made 35 on IWM, and then next week we can't even use IWM, right? So because it's going to be too busy waiting to see. It's like wait and see. All right. What else? Let's go to the Q holdings. Again, synthetic expense 6,100. Right now it's worth 6,129. But again, I just opened it, so who really cares about that? All right, weekly income. How much did I make for the week? Just selling calls. Again, this does not deduct out the expense of the call, the put, whatever. But we do take that into consideration when calculating the capital being used. So the premium income for the week is $1,642. Capital being used $34,644. Total rate of return, again, this is for 1 week, 4.74%. If I annualize that, sucker, 246%. So yeah, is that good? Yeah, it's good. But again, we'll see how we don't want to lose too much capital, on the synthetics, but time will tell. The market's been doing very, very good. Been very nice to us, so no complaints. I'll go over the monthly income. I'll do a month-end update, which probably actually won't even be that good. because the balance of the portfolio did drop. Obviously, you know, anything with Hood, with Palantir, you'll see that on the update. So here's the update. I shared this. I think it is my thumbnail actually. So this is the income, just the fancier way of looking at it. Again, good money. But you know, it helped that I did start the Qs. You know, but again, I got the 2 indexes, and then I got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual underlyings. Are these safe? Are they safe? No, but we'll see. Active holdings, here they are. But let's check up comment update. You guys yapping still? At the moment, I would pick a healthcare, consumer stock, Pepsi. Yeah, their IV is awful though. Let's see. You don't have to roll. You can wait a few weeks for better market conditions, and you can. No, I'm gonna. Well, I had to roll. It's either that or buy to close, because obviously I would have got assigned. So yeah, I had to do something. But anyway, what did I do? I just showed you on the Qs. I opened a new position and I sold a call. The call expires on Friday, December 5th. And the synthetic is 1 year out. It expires December 18th. Good morning, Parabolic. So here's the end, right? Here's the as at update. These are my holdings. This is basically my portfolio allocation. We got a little degeneracy in open. We got kind of degeneracy in SOFI. We got the ladies here with ELF. You know, that brings the ladies to my channel because I invest in ELF. And then we got Hood with who the hell knows with Hood, and who the hell knows with Palantir. And then we got IWM. Oh yeah. And then we got the Qs, baby. Woohoo! So yeah. My wife hates when I do that. Ooh. Remember that song? All right. Anyway, let's what call did I sell? I sold the same synthetic. Same as this synthetic. I sold a 615 call right here. At, you know, essentially at the money, slightly in the money. All right, let's look at the active holdings. Let's look at open. Again, open. How's the zoom? Do we want to keep the zoom like this so we can see everything? Let me know. So let's see. $1,200 again for the synthetic collar on open. I did make $13.25 on cover calls, so I'm actually at a profit just considering the collar and the cover calls. I'm at a profit. However, we do of course consider future possible downside risk. So if I add that into it, I'm still total at risk 1,075. If that makes sense. All right. Now exposure, that's only technically based on that 3%. You know, my exposure is 3% based on that. Now, if I look at this synthetic value, it's worth 711. If I net currently the synthetic, it's only worth negative 489. But if I add the net of the calls, I did make 836, and that's a 69% return on investment on open. Capital saved is on the bottom. We can ignore that for now. And then we look at SOFI, same thing again, but except I'm not in the green on the profit loss or obviously the total at risk. There's 7% of the total exposure, but I am up ROI 78% with the call income and all things considered. We move on to ELF. ELF is about 10% exposure. Again, considering the total at risk. I am down. The ROI on ELF is down, but again, that's because I got my ass beat at the 125 range. But again, I think I can flip ELF in due time. So Robinhood, again, newer position, but again, not newer, but it's, we're just playing from behind. So we're going to flip this screen soon, profit loss side, and then we'll work on the total at risk. They're 19% exposure, and my ROI on that position is negative 17%. Palantir, how you doing? Well, not that great on Palantir. You can see overall profit loss, it's going to be a ways till I can flip this screen. But again, we're playing from behind a little bit on the Palantir part because they did tank, and now we're selling calls kind of safely as we earn premium during hopefully a nice recovery. Exposure, they're they're my largest position, actually. I don't really want them to be at this point, but they're 26% of the total portfolio. Synthetic value, again, you see it's worth what, 415, but if you net the two, the expense versus what it's worth now, I'm down 2,800. But if you add the net of the calls, I'm only down 1843. But again, ROI negative 56%. Tough one to take. IWM, again, by far my best so far. You can see I made 562. I paid about what, 1294. So that profit loss in due time will flip. They're 14% of the portfolio. Synthetic values worth about 2,512. Synthetic net, again, base, deducting out the original expense, 1,218. So the synthetic is positive, and then I've got, of course, we got covered call premium about 1,780 worth. The ROI on IWM alone, which is helping my portfolio survive, is up 137%. So do I like trading indexes? Yeah. All right. And then I added the Qs. Of course, you can see the Qs in IWM. They have the 12/18/26 expiration. These have the Mays. But ideally, I think I'm going to go 1 year out going forward. But we'll see. But yeah, the Qs are a new position, but even though they're new, I am up 11%. So overall, all things considered, the good, the bad, the ugly, my ROI is up 6.24%. You wish it was better, but again, this was negative, I think, last week, wasn't it? So we had a really good week, but yeah, we're in the positive. But the more important part is, look how much capital I am saving here, right? 2,400, 9,600, 5,400, blah, 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 blah. 133,000 capital saved. That's insane. Through using synthetics, through using leverage, right? So I don't know. To me, this is this is new to me. So don't think, I'm talking like I know everything here. I'm just trying something new and I'm loving it. I am having a freaking blast. It is fun. It's a little more work, but it is fun. And I believe long term, it could really perform well, especially as an income play. Did I have to add open? Did I have to add ELF? No. Did I have to add Robinhood? No. Palantir? No. But I didn't know what the hell I was doing anyway. And I added them and they're here and we're going to make the best of it. But I am going to balance this out. I will have the 3 major indexes. Obviously I have to add the SPY still. So I'll add that in due time. And then my portfolio will be based around those 3. And then I'll add the individuals, at that point. So yeah, I may close open. Well, I don't know. I got to think about the open thing because it is a pain in the what. But it is, it's just, I don't know. I think it's going to do well. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay. Before we get to the wheel, we're closing out the wheel and we'll show you that. Let's see. Any questions? Zoom is good. Thank you for confirming. CME. I don't know what that is. What is CME? CME group. Yeah, I'm keeping forget the individuals for now, right? We're keeping the index based, and then we'll get to the individuals. RODY, NAV erosion. Yeah, man, almost. We were headed that direction, but yeah, it's doing well though. Well, I almost got capped on IWM, but I'm gonna. It's a survival play now, but we'll see how it goes. Let's see. Is there a trade that protects getting capped on the upside? Well, there's, if I worried about getting capped, well, I'm not worried when I'm selling calls with a strike price at or above my synthetic. But if it happens, then yeah, I'm just going to roll it up and out in due time. So if I don't want, if I'm selling at a strike that's below my synthetic, then yeah, I'll go further out of the money, or I'll do a diagonal, which is selling a call and also buying a call with a further, higher strike price. But I'll go an additional week out on that. I haven't done it. It takes a little more time, I'm finding. And every time, like, it's just easier for me to sell just sell the call with a, further strike price out. Convert covered call strategy to cash secure markets going up. Yeah, we'll see. I don't time the market, so I don't really care. Capital save, yeah, is your leverage. Yep. All right, SOFI gonna fly. Love it. Yeah, I like my SOFI position too. It's been doing good. But Tire Broad got capped on UPS. All right, so let's that's the update on RODY. I'm just gonna do a quick update on the wheel. So TSLL, again, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get rid of these positions because I need to focus on RODY. There's just a lot going on. And what did I do? I had 2 covered calls that were expiring Friday, $16 and $17. TSLL closed at $18.51. So obviously both of these got assigned. So got assigned for $16 and $17. So I got more cash money in my account. Obviously it didn't, I lost out on a little capital, but again, I don't care at this point because I'm collecting premium on the way out. So we'll hide those rows. And then you'll see here, we got 3 puts left, 16, a 15, and a 16. I probably could have closed them yesterday. I didn't even think about it. And then I have a covered call for the last 100 shares at 16 that expires December 12th. And then I'll be done with TSLL. So you can see there's 100 shares left, 100 covered, they all have covered calls. And then you could see the 16 and the 17 got assigned. But capital was lost in the process. But overall, this wheel is still at a profit of $3,555. TNA Dynamite, how's this one doing? Well, it's just chilling. You can see TNA's at 47, the strike's at 40. This thing's surprised it just doesn't get assigned early, but we'll see. And then open, these two, I sold them pretty deep in the money, $6. Closed at 770. They both got assigned, and these are gone. So I can now gray these out, and I can actually hide this tab. But before I do that, let's just look at the stats. I did make overall $462, and I wanted to show you if I go back to the RODY file. So where's my screenshot? So with my open position, what I did is I had 200 shares at the time these warrants were assigned. So I sold one of those 6s. Where they? I hit them already. No, I didn't hide them yet. So one of these I sold with the warrant as the open one, or the open with the warrants, and the other one I sold without. It just said open. So what happened is, and this is, I confirmed this with the brokerage too, and it is what happened. The one that I sold that said open 1 with warrants, it took my 100 shares of open, and it took 3 shares of each warrant. All right. And it took it, and it's gone because it was part of the assignment. The other open, it only took my 100 shares of open, and I still have 3 shares each of the warrant because I didn't choose the warrant option. All right. I chose the other one, the standard one. So that's why. So what I'll do is I'll probably just sell those other warrants and move on. But I was just curious on how that would work. And that's how it worked. So again, pain in the ass, absolutely, but it is what it is. Now we know for next time if anyone else decides to do a warrant. I still have these leaps open. One expires in January. This thing doesn't look like it has much hope. The ones in May, you never know. We'll see what open does by then. Again, this is just a kind of testing it out, testing the waters, see what leaps are all about. And then what else? Weekly income, if we care, which we don't really care because we're getting out of this. We made about $350 on the wheel. All right. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, the focus now is RODY. What I'm going to do with RODY, to give you guys an idea, is I'm going to do more side pieces. What's a side piece? It's basically a credit put spread, bull credit spread, bull put spread, whatever the hell they want to call it nowadays. It's where you sell a put and you buy a put. So you sell a put at the higher strike and you buy a put at a lower strike. And you overall, you will collect premium. And why would I want to do that? Is because, you know, if I'm limited, like on IWM, maybe I'll want to, you know, maybe I think it's not going to slow down. So maybe what I'll do is I'll throw a side piece in on IWM and I'll essentially dare it to go down. I dare you to assign me on my put, right? And that way I'll collect premium in the process, right? But again, it's more work. It's another trade. It's more effort. So it's worth it. I would do it on more, but it's just a lot. It just takes a lot of time. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me check out the comments here. We're actually towards the end, so I'm going to throw on some beats. How about right? Or lo-fi or dance? Yeah, dance pop. Dirty pop. All right. Anyway, let's see what you guys are yapping about. All right, I'm sure. Black Mamba. Apparently, Black Mamba can predict the future, so we better go with what he says. Let's see. All right, so what else we got? BMT Rod, do you place stop loss on my covered calls? What? Not sure what you mean, but you know, I'm not worried about the covered calls, you know, especially the ones where it's like I said, the strike prices are at or above the synthetic. Again, for the ones like Hood, where yes, my 130 is in danger for next week. If Robinhood runs up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm just gonna roll this up and out. I'm not really concerned about it. It is what it is. I'd rather the stock go up than keep going down. So if it blows through my 130, great, I'll deal with it. Why not tighten up the leap put and sell puts off of it alongside your covered calls? It's called a diagonal spread. Why not tighten up the leap and sell put? Yeah, sell puts alongside. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could do that. Again, there is no limit to, you know, I can only handle so much at the moment, right? The brain is gonna explode at this point. RODY's enough, but yes, you're right. I can add more things and make it more, but I'm gonna sell puts right now. I'm thinking that the credit put spreads, which we're calling the side piece, will be the new addition, and then we'll add others along the way. No need to get mad. It's pro conversation or what to do. Nobody mad here, bro. I'm just saying, you predict in the future, right? You seem very confident about it. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. But I can't bust your chops. Jeez. Relax. Have fun, man. All right. So are you going to do an end of month video hopefully this weekend? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It all depends on this house. As soon as I turn this off and open the door, child runs down. And then the chaos resumes. All right. So what else? What else we got? I guess I could pull up the the active holdings, just to see like the losers right now. My biggest losers are Elf, Palantir, Elf and Palantir. I mean, I'm not. Robinhood's doing all right. I'm not worried about Robinhood, but Palantir, man, not a great start. But again, you live and you learn. I went in too fast on some of these, you know, and I got smacked in the face, which I deserved. So you gotta like, you need that. I kind of needed that right away. At least I know, okay, all right, slow your roll, buddy. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Slow your roll. But yeah, it helped me out and it made me really jump right into indexes. Okay, let me get into indexes, and now I feel safe. But yeah, I'll do an update to the account. The account is down. Hint, the account is down in capital for sure since the last update, because we were at all-time highs and then they had that big sell-off. What we got? In some cases, stop can be 2x the return on high volume stocks. Who is Black Mamba Trader? Are you in the options group? If so, what's your name? Obviously, you know your stuff, so you should join the conversations, because we can use another some more opinions. All right, what else we got? Anyone else got questions? I know this music's horrible, isn't it? But yeah, so again, what is RODY? This is RODY. This is it. But no, RODY is a cricket, but it just represents doing options trading on your own and doing it however the hell you please. It doesn't have to be this way, but I'm finding this way is very fun. Even though I'm getting my ass beat in some of these, I'm still having fun. So hopefully it's fun to watch. Oh yeah, something else to keep in mind. Again, if you're investing in the individuals, keep in mind the various sectors. I know diversification's overrated. Yeah, we get it. But if you wanted to be diversified and you did individuals, just one thing to keep in mind. Just, you know, because if you're sector heavy and one sector goes down, then your whole portfolio goes down, right? Versus, you know, say you're in, you know, tech heavy, and then all of a sudden you have energy, you know, obviously they should not correlate, but you never know, man. You never know. I know, but just something to think about. Sectors. What else? What else we got? We got the rules. Nothing to talk about there. We kind of did that, and we got the sample. I'm going to leave this sample up as we talk through the rest of the video. But first, the Bitcoin check. How we doing? Didn't really move at all. That's all right. All right. What else we got? Discord. Yeah, no, I hear you, man. We're all busy. But it's if you're in there, yeah, it's the options trading group. And we talk about whatever. But I may bust your chops there, so you got to have a, you know, got to relax. Don't get too angry. All right. I need to work on my index positions. Well, I mean, I don't just work on learning. Really, I know. Again, it depends what you're in now. I know you're in a lot of the leverage plays, so you're still learning like TSLL. So again, you can do TNA. That's a triple leverage index. The only reason I'm not doing TNA on this is because I'm already leveraged. If I add triple leverage to it, plus, you know, this is a long-term play, so then I have to rely on, you know, the daily allocation of the leveraged fund, which you know sometimes you just can't trust, and it doesn't truly track the underlying over the long term. Then it's not ideal for this type of play. Until end of year, I'm selling cash secure puts on stocks I want to buy. Yeah, no, I want to add the side piece to most of these positions. Definitely the indexes, because yeah, it just feels like we are, you know, headed up. It does feel that way, but we've been fooled before. Jose, yes, 68.47. So far this year, I had made 7,050 and lost 2,000, 50% of what I invested this year. That is what I've been making for the past 5 years, 50% a year, sometimes a bit over. So yeah, that's not bad at all. Is RODY in a taxable? Of course it is. We're always in a taxable. I got enough in the damn freaking retirement that I can't touch. All right, have a good one. Retire abroad. We're about to end here anyway. We're just yapping. Raph, that's right, Raph. Bye, Raph. Riff Raff. No more Riff Raff. You can work on an EMA. Once above, you sell puts. Once below, you sell calls. Just an adoption. Yeah. Well, I added SMAs, simple moving average, which again, I know there's all these different freaking moving averages you got to worry about. I picked the one that's called simple. I like the word simple, but yeah, no, they're on my charts, so I do track them. In fact, let's see. Pull it up now if you want. Let's see. All right, so we go to chart. Here's my simple moving averages. So I got the 200, which is here. The 200 is the red. The 100 is the blue, I believe. Let's see, yellow. Then I got like a 50 and a 20, I think. But here's the Qs. It looks like it's above all of them. There's Jeff. I assume this is Jeff from the Discord. Welcome. Yeah, we need M Cheese and SB here. I think SB's sleeping. M Cheese probably sleeping too. No matter, just use them, bro. All right, so it don't matter if I use SMA or EMA. Yeah, I got to learn. My charting is not good. So it's a work in progress here. Add 9 for the wheel. 9. Add another one, man. How many freaking MAs am I going to have? Here, let's see. So I do click this and I'll do simple. Add selected, and where to go? Oh, it defaulted to the 9. Look at that. So we'll go to settings, and what I have on the other settings, I got to check. Numerical style width 2. Okay. Numerical style width 2. And what color? What color? What color for the 9? Peach? Peachy. What do you think? Peachy? All right, let's try that. There's the 9. It's really tough to see with the yellow. Oh, there's the kids. There's the noise. I guess that's my note too. All right. So purple. How about purple? So yeah, so now we got 5 SMAs thanks to Black Mamba. All right, so where do I sell a put? If I look at the Qs, you see where it's at, right? It's at what, 619.25, which is above every single SMA. So where would I sell a put? Black Mamba. Yeah, I know what it stands for. I just don't know what the hell the difference is. Well, I need the 100 and the 200 for starting positions, because my starting position is, well, yeah, under which MA though? Under the weekly MA, the one you just told me to add, or, well, because I'll do 1 month out, so you probably figure which one is which. I gotta check. Maybe the 50. The color's the 50 is yellow, so if I go under the 50, which is 608, so if I sell, say, 600, I'm probably good. All right. Under the 9. Wait for how long expiration? My synthetic goes out a year, about 13 months. But yeah, so. All right, anyway, I think we're good for the day. I think we covered a lot. This is just a little bonus content. This is the Thinkorswim platform where I'm pulling up the chart. But yeah, Black Mamba, if you're in the Discord today, just tag me and we'll keep the conversation going. Like to get your thoughts on what you chart and if you chart and what platform you use. But as always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and this video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, come back tomorrow, right? Come back tomorrow for more. Tomorrow is Guestamania, if I'm even ready, because it's going to be reverse split freaking time. So I got to do the calculation on all the reverse splits, make sure I have all them. And yeah, plus I'm supposed to do a month-end update, which, yeah, good luck, right? What else? That's pretty much it. Well, if you enjoy the content, obviously you can hit the like button, or if you're on X, you can reshare it, repost it. You can also reshare it on YouTube as well. But yeah, outside of that, I got nothing. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you gotta say the keyword. All right. Anyone got a keyword? Is the keyword SMA, EMA, moving averages, Black Mamba? Maybe Black Mamba is the keyword, right? So what we got? We got Kobe fan here. Let's see, 9. Keyword is 9. Let's see what we got here. Is that the best? I'll make you the keyword. All right. We'll give him it. We'll give him it. He was very active the whole time from beginning to end. So we'll give him full credit, extra credit. Yeah, I'm a Celtics fan, so I never liked Kobe until he retired, and then I was a huge Kobe fan just because I respected his game. Because you don't get that now, and people they don't play like him anymore, so it's not the same. But yeah, I do definitely. That was awful what happened to him and his family. But anyway, if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you gotta say the keyword. Keyword today is Black Mamba or respect Kobe. You choose. All right. I'm out of here, everyone. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Later.